Sorry, guys. I am Sunday Link, but I am here with you as well. I'll go ahead and introduce myself real fast while I'm doing this. My name is Janie Coffey. Most of you know me. Um, Hold on. There we go. Okay, I sent it to him. Okay, great. Um, Sorry, guys. This is a guest, so I really want to make sure he gets in.
Yes, for sure. No problem. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Um, Let me pull up the slides so we can share. Okay. Stacy, can you give me?
Yep, I just did.
Okay, thanks. There we go. We're going to go really fast. This is one of my favorite presentations to give because I think it's really, really relevant to the current market conditions that we are in. Um, and I call it Conquering a Stormy Market. Some of you might maybe seen it. But I think it's an incredibly relevant topic right now because of the market in general, with everything being kind of wonky, but specifically also because of NAR and what's going on. Because as you go up in price point, sellers and buyers at higher price points typically value working with a real estate agent as extremely important because they're used to working with professionals in their lives and they value their own time over what they are going to pay a buyer or selling agent. And they're used to working with agents. They've bought many, many properties. So because of the economy in general, and because of the NAR settlement specifically, I really encourage you to look at how you might be able to raise your average price point. That might be going a lot into luxury. It might be sprinkling luxury throughout your business. It might be just shifting your price range to incorporate more higher price points into. So if you have a niche, going higher to kind of bridge that gap. So what we're going to do is kind of go over a training. I call it Conquering a Stormy Market. This is not like an ER presentation. It's in fact a presentation to get you excited about this shifting market. So with that being said, let's get on into it. And then I will have a workbook at the end of this so you don't have to stress too much about taking a lot of notes because I'm going to do a presentation that's often way more than an hour in the next 40 to 45 minutes. So again, my name is Janie Coffey. I work in historic St. Augustine, Florida. We have a team of agents throughout the state of Florida called Gorgeous Florida Homes, and I am super blessed to be with Stacy on this journey with all of you. So this is me in front of a typical house I might sell here in Northeast Florida, but this is also me, and this is on an ice shelf in Antarctica at about 4:30 in the morning after having slept on the ice shelf without a tent, just in a bivy sack. And the reason that's important is this storm that I went through where we could not be rescued. It was a storm that was not anticipated, but we were already on this ice shelf in Antarctica, and this storm came in, and it was not safe for the ship that we were with to send little Zodiac rubber boats, rubber rafts, over to the piece of land where we were. So we just had to weather it out through the night from about 10 to 5 in the morning, 10 at night to 5 in the morning, through this unexpected, basically whiteout blizzard without a tent. You can't have tents because they'll blow away. That's already expected. But what was not expected was the degree of the storm. And this is me in the morning. This is about 4:30, 4:45 in the morning. This is my feet in my bivy sack, which is, again, it's like a sleeping bag, but it comes over your face. This is the snow. So you can see it's kind of the height of me. That's in part because to weather it, we took shovels and we dug down a little bit so that the wind and the snow ideally would blow over us. But while I was toasty warm in my bivy sack and not freaking out and not stressing, there were other people in our group that I truly was literally praying that they would make it through the night because it had become so windy and out of control that people hadn't come protected, they hadn't become proper, and some people were having anxiety attacks in these bivy sacks because the snow was piling up on them, so it was making them feel suffocated, that they were getting out of their bivy sacks in the middle of the night and just standing there completely in shock. The reason that I managed to stay in there and be toasty warm and not have a panic attack was I brought 3 gloves, I brought 3 hats, I brought 3 face covers. I pulled in the middle of this storm, I pulled my boots inside and I put them in the bivy sack and I put them side by side by my head. I know that sounds gross, but it held that little bit of fabric up off my face by about 6 or 8 inches so the snow couldn't start um, pressing down on my face. Most people didn't think to do that. And I didn't put all my socks or gloves or anything on at one time. As I got cold, I'd put on my second set of gloves. As I got cold after that, I'd put on my socks. As I got cold, I'd put on my hat. And the reason I did it like that is I always had something to look forward to. I always knew I had something else. So between having a mindset that this is cold, but we're going to make it. I knew I had other things. So the reason I wanted to share this story with you is kind of what the real estate industry at large is going through right now is very similar. We are kind of having an unexpected storm of changes. The changes are not good or not bad as long as you yourself as an agent get in front of those changes because transactions are still going to happen. Last week we did top 10 kind of niches or things that you could focus on during a shifting market that are very insulated from whatever shift is going on. If you didn't watch that, go back to Facebook and watch that training last week. Mateos dropped it in, and it is in Stacy's The Goods. And that's what I want to encourage you guys to do right now because they are expecting it's going to be a year or two of this kind of wonky change. And if you can get in front of it and you can get with the people who are actually transacting, you are going to just explode your business. So that's why I wanted to share this story with you. It's all in perspective, it's all in having tools, accessing those tools, and being able to pivot. So, my whole life, I've been what's called a serranophile. A serranophile is a person who loves lightning and thunder, basically a lover of storms. And so, what I hope to do in the next 30 minutes with you is if you were not already a lover of storms and thunder and lightning, I want to take you on a journey about how to leverage luxury real estate in this changing stormy market so that it can actually help you increase your business, increase your income, and imagine when we come out of this storm, how much your business is going to explode. So let's get on into it. Like I said, regardless of the market, real estate doesn't stop. People sometimes get freaked out when they hear that a market is slowing or a market is changing or this or that because they think somehow all the business in the world is going to go away. That's not true. Real estate still gets done. You just have to be the person as part of those transactions because we get paid when a property transacts, whether it's up or down, whether on the buy side or the sell side, we get paid when a property transacts. So shifting yourself over to be in front of those transactions is the way. And like I said, luxury is kind of in a special thing because people really do value real estate agents and they're not being penny wise and pound foolish. And I hate to say that, but you know what I mean. Some people with this NAR settlement are going to think, oh, I can save the commission. Generally speaking, luxury buyers and sellers are not going to do that because they value their time. So what we're going to discuss today is how to define luxury in your market, how to develop a business plan that works for you, how to select your focus, and how to determine your lead gen methods. And like I said, I have a workbook. I'm going to share the link with you when we're done. And I'm going kind of fast. But luxury is very easily defined. The Institute of Luxury Home Marketing, which is kind of the granddaddy of luxury training, defines it as the top 10%. I personally think the top 10% is a little low. So I call the top 10% of the market starter luxury. I call the top 5% of the market luxury and the top 1% of the market uber luxury. And all you need to do is go in your MLS to residential sales, closed sales. You can look 6 months back, you can look a year back, it doesn't matter. See how many total closed sales there were. So if there were 10,000 closed sales in the last, hold on. 10,000 closed sales in the last 6 months. Sort those closed sales by price, highest to lowest, and then just scroll down to the top 10%. So in our example, that would be 1,000. So scroll down to the 1,000th property, price price wise, that's sold, not active, and whatever that price is, that's the start of luxury, give or take a little bit, but it gives you a guide. So, like I said, I kind of call that starter luxury. In my market here in Northeast Florida, that's around 700,000, 800,000. Not super luxury, but certainly the start of luxury when somebody's moving out of, let's call it a bread and butter average priced home, which in our market maybe average is 350 or 400,000, something like that. The top 10%, 800,000 starter luxury. Great, great, great place to shift your focus or some of your focus. It's not very different from regular real estate. The people are generally very similar. And oftentimes, most of the time, you're still going to be able to get away showing your listings and having them on lockbox rather than have to show in person, because as you go into higher price points, you normally have to show those properties in person as the listing agent. That can really mess up your schedule, your daily schedule. Here in our market, 900 to a million is really the start of luxury. But still, when I look at a lot of 900 to $1 million homes, they're nice, but they're not necessarily super luxury, because in my head, the super luxury is really only about the top 1% or 1/2 of 1% of the market. So in my area, that would be about 2.5 to 3 million and up. But what happens is a lot of people in real estate or in just out there think of luxury as only the top 1/2 or 1% of the properties in their market. So they don't try to shift their price point at all. And I'm encouraging you to really shift it at least to that top 10%, that starter luxury price point. Very easily, if you're selling average price properties and you shift it to the top 10%, you could probably do the same number of transactions and double your income without things being very different. The people are not different. The process is not very different. So I would just really encourage you to think about that. Next thing, think about, as we're going through these changes, are you going to, and depending on your market specifically, are you going to be working more with buyers, working more with sellers? Who are you going to be targeting in your messaging? It doesn't mean that you're only going to do sellers or only going to do buyers, but who are you going to try to pull in with your messaging? If you're going to be trying to pull in buyers and you're in a state that didn't use buyer broker agreements very much before, you have about a month and a half to really nail your buyer consultation and using buyer broker agreements and your offering to buyers. If you're in a state that's already historically been using buyer broker agreements, all you need to do is just to make sure you're being the best of the best as far as buyers agents, your knowledge of the market, what you bring as far as negotiation skills and things like that. Or are you going to try to shift to sellers, a little bit more with sellers? I think as you go up in price point, starting to make a little bit of your shift towards sellers. And as long as we're in a wonky market, my encouragement to you would be to try to focus more on expired higher priced sellers, because they're going to be a lot more reasonable about the price. And if they're expiring and coming back on the market, that means they really truly normally do intend and want to sell. They're not like aspirational sellers if they get their price. You don't want a lot of luxury sellers who are, if I get my price, because what's going to happen is you're going to spend a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy and goodwill trying to get them a price that the market may or may not accept. And you don't want to spend too much time doing that, because it can spend a lot of your time and resources and really deflate you as an agent. So after you've done that, you need to really kind of do the research in your area. Where are those top 10% or top 5% properties? Where are they? So just once you've done that thing on your MLS, shift over to map view, and it's going to just kind of glow, like they'll just kind of pop up where they are on the MLS. In our area, they're going to be along our oceanfront areas, along our riverfront areas, our Gulf areas, and our other waterfront properties. Are they mostly in a geographical area where you are? Are they mostly certain communities? Like, figure out where they are. And once you've done that, before you decide where you want to shift your effort for your marketing, do a good analysis of, if you're wanting to focus on, say, starter luxury. In my example, in Northeast Florida, that might be 700 to a million. I'm going to look at the whole MLS price range, 700 to a million. And then I'm going to look at the stats. What's the average days on market for the 700 to a million? What's the list to sales price ratio? What's the number of months of inventory? And I'm going to get that information. And then I'm going to look at 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 areas that I want to focus on. And I'm going to pull the stats for that area specifically, because I don't want, if I'm shifting to want to work with sellers in an area, I don't want to focus my time and effort in an area that has worse stats for sellers, meaning it's taken longer than average to sell. They're having to take bigger price reductions, list to sales price ratio, or they have more months of inventory, because now I'm stacking myself up to have a harder time than even my MLS for the same price point. Conversely, maybe I find an area that's actually selling hotter than the rest of the area. That would be ideal. So, and then if you're wanting to focus on buyers, you would want the reverse stats. You would want more buyer friendly stats than that average, so that you have the things stacked in your favor when you're working with buyers. Final thing before you pick your area that you want to focus on, or your own area where you are now, before you're deciding if you want to go up in price point, do a SWOT analysis of your competition, of the area in general. SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. What are your strengths? What are the strengths of that area? What are the opportunities? What are your weaknesses? What are the threats? What's the competition doing? If there's a really strong agent in that area or team of agents, are they really focused on open houses? Then maybe you want to do market reports. Are they really old school and doing direct mail, which is, nothing's wrong with direct mail. I think it's great, but maybe you want to like come out blazing with really great video and social. So how can you do things differently than the agent or team that's doing well in that area? So spend your time doing that. Next thing is, what are you going to do for lead gen? And I have this thing here because lead gen is really a fingerprint. It's not a blueprint. And what I mean by that is, so many coaches and trainers try to say, this is the way. You need to do it this way. Well, a lot of those ways don't resonate with me. They might not resonate with you. You need to find a way that works for you, like as unique as you are, with lead gen that you love, that you can get passionate about, that you can be consistent with, that you can be devoted and committed to making yourself an expert about it. Things can, first of all, I think everybody should be doing amazing market reports. Every single month, an amazing detailed market report. You can take that market report, you can turn it into social content, you can turn it into short form and long form video, you can turn it into postcards that you mail out to your farm, you can send it out to journalists and news people in the area who write about real estate. You can have it printed out at open houses. You can take it on your listing presentations. You can have live monthly events about the state of the market. There's so much you can do. So I think market reports should be the foundation for everybody. But then, are you going to add in social media or direct mail or open houses or targeted PPC or other online leads? Video, sphere of influence, networking, whatever it is, there's a ton of training available, both in the the ecosphere out there for real estate agents, and then certainly within the network and game changers and EXP. We have training on all of these topics. EXP has now come out with what they're calling elevated coaching, where they have specialists in a couple different topics. So Levi Lakasik is coming out with a training on video for a fraction of what you would normally pay to get his training. There's a bunch of different trainings coming out, at least 6 or 7 or 8 in the next few months. I'm going to be starting a 12-week deep dive training on luxury starting July 1st. So if you're interested in more of that, you can check that out. But make a plan, market report as your foundation, and then one or two max other things, because you can't be scattered around trying to do all these different things. You need to master something and then you can move on and layer something on top. But start with a foundation of what you love, what you're excited about, what you're passionate about. So your magic recipe is, you do, in the luxury space, you do have to have world-class materials. And what I mean by that, your cards should be nice, your graphics and aesthetics that you're sending out to people, your listing presentation needs to look nice and good and quality. And that normally doesn't mean fancy. That means clean and crisp and professional. So world-class materials, your yard signs, everything needs to feel good and needs to feel appropriate for the price point of the homes that you're looking to serve. The reason I point that out, a lot of people go up in price point, but kind of don't look at their overall materials. They keep the same materials and it doesn't quite feel, both in the hand and the look, and that resonates with that luxury buyer or seller. So world-class materials. If you're at EXP and you're interested in the luxury division, they make it really, really easy for you because they basically create almost everything. It's just plug and play. But you can hire somebody from Fiverr or something like that if you need. Market knowledge, you definitely need to make yourself an expert at the market that you are serving. So checking out the hot sheet every day, going to broker open houses or caravans or whatever they call them in your area, so that you really know that even if you've not sold in that area before or that price point, in a 6 to 8 week period, you can become very knowledgeable about these properties and about what's happening in the market right now, often more than some agents who've been in it for a while because they get lazy. So having your market reports that you're working on and then really checking out the hot sheet every day, what's selling, what's not selling, what's having price reductions, what's expiring, going to the properties, that's going to help give you that market knowledge, which you need because you need confidence in what you're talking about when you're meeting with buyers and sellers. And then, like we talked about, a plan that you execute with consistency. That's no different than regular real estate. But these are the three kind of things you need: great materials, market knowledge, and a plan that you execute with consistency. Um, Expireds are back. I am super excited about this, especially for luxury price points, because it is really, really challenging. Other than 2021 and the first half of 2022, taking a listing at that time would often sell very, very quickly. If you're in California, I think they're still selling very quickly. But generally speaking, the first time on the market for a luxury owner, they often have a pie in the sky price in their head that they want. So expireds are really great because they've gotten that out of their system. And the other thing great about expired luxury listings is they typically take a longer time. If they expire, they typically take a little bit longer time to come back to the market because they take a pause, they interview other agents, they really kind of figure out what they want. So this is an absolute perfect opportunity for you guys to get um, some really great inventory and build your whole business with luxury expireds. Um, Next up, one more magic ingredient, something that I just believe everybody needs to have in real estate in general, but specifically in luxury real estate, is confidence. And what I mean by that, I mean assuredness, determination, strength, excitement, um, confidence, not arrogance, not cockiness, not bravado or anything, confidence, because buyers and sellers are used to working with top of luxury properties. They're used to working with top-notch professionals, top-notch CPAs, top-notch attorneys, financial planners. They are looking for the same level of confidence in what their agent has to offer, whether it's on the buy or sell side. You're going to get that by becoming a student of your market and gaining that market knowledge. I don't know if you've noticed, but as we've gone through this presentation, like I said, I've compressed this presentation to be a little bit fast, but we started with a stormy sea back here. Hold on, I want to show you this. We started with a stormy sea and we've worked our way through, and now we're almost to the sunlight and the rainbows. Ooh, I forgot to show you one point. or maybe I hit it. Um, this is somebody going into a storm. And for people who are um, boating people, I think Beth is on here, she's a boat captain. The best way to go into rocking bad seas is to hit the waves head on, not turn sideways and try to hide, because that's going to capsize you. Hit the wave head on, and that's what I'm trying to encourage you to do. So with our presentation here, we've kind of gone through the stormy weather, the clouds are starting to break, and we have our rainbow here. So anyway, bringing it all together, you're going to determine what luxury is in your specific market. That might be 500,000, that might be 5 million, that might be 20 million. You've got to look in your specific market. A lot of people say, we don't have luxury in our market. Every single market has luxury for whatever their market is. So do that math, figure that out, look at your MLS. You're going to decide what your business plan is. Are you going to make your lead generation more towards sellers, more towards buyers? I would counsel you to consider making it more towards sellers, and ideally, for the time being, expired sellers. But you're going to select your focus, you're going to look at your area, you're going to see if there's kind of a niche, maybe whether it's a geographic niche or a property niche. You're going to select your lead gen system, which will have a foundation of really great market reports that you repurpose in many different ways. You're going to study the luxury market every single day, with your hot sheets, going to looking at what's getting listed, what's expiring, what's reducing, to understand. You're also going to read the descriptions and look at them pictures and videos, so you can see what the listing agents are calling out as special. Do you see people talking about summer kitchens or certain appliances or amazing pools or facilities, whatever it is that they're talking about, so that you understand what is important to the luxury buyer. You're going to make sure that you have world-class materials with your cards, your lead gen pieces, your graphics. Blend them with the other price points that you do. You don't want to be completely different. You want to be able to go up and down in price point, so you have a kind of luxury division of your business rather than a completely separate brand. Um, and then finally, I just encourage you to really think about, what is your identity as a real estate professional? And what I mean by that is, a lot of people, what is it, 1.6, 1.7 people in the US and like 20 million worldwide, are real estate agents or real estate licensees. That's kind of the lowest bar. Consider, who are you? Are you a real estate agent? Are you a real estate salesperson? Are you a listing specialist? Are you a real estate advisor? Are you a real estate entrepreneur? Like, really, who are you in this career, in this industry of real estate? And take that on. There's too many people that don't even give thought to that. And they're just kind of like floating around. If you are in this to be in this as a full-time career, figure out, who is your identity. I encourage you to consider yourself a real estate advisor or a specialist in something, so that you, in your own head and in the eyes of the public and the consumers, really see you in an elevated status, not just another real estate agent. We've been beaten up enough in the news over the last few months about real estate agents. Be a real estate advisor, be a person there who's a specialist to help people navigate to the next chapter of their lives. So anyway, I'm going to stop sharing. Let me drop in the workbook. I'm going to drop this in the chat, and then I will also email it to Mateo so he can share. But this is a workbook that you can print out, that kind of helps you remember those things, how to figure out what's luxury in your market, how to look at different lead generation methods to see what works best for you. How to kind of make that plan so that you can move forward. And like I said, that starter luxury price point is probably a place where you already are doing business. So it's just a little bit more of that can really increase your average sales price. So I'm going to stop sharing, and we've got a few minutes for questions.
Awesome. Such a great job. I was taking notes because, you know, you covered the information in such a like a detailed way, but not an overwhelming way. So we know exactly like where to find the sellers, how to understand what luxury is in our market, how to present ourselves as a professional that luxury people would want to hire. So such a great job. I really appreciate it. So definitely questions, you guys type them in the chat or unmute either way. We
Yep.
have Janie. So
Janie, you mentioned that you were doing something with EXP where you're doing a training starting today.
No, it's July 31st.
Oh,
Not July.
31st. Okay, that's better because I was thinking,
You had
oh, yeah,
actually
I'm
said
already behind
July
the eight
1st.
ball.
I thought the
Oh,
same
I said
thing.
July 1st?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
like,
sorry, no,
okay,
July
that's like
31st.
notice.
Yeah, I was like, okay. Because I have about 6 people in my organization that are luxury, they signed up for the luxury program, and a lot of them are newer. And I'm going to get them this link right away, just to have the mindset of how to dig into it. And but I'm interested in that link too, where the training would be. Is
Let
it
me
paid
get you, I'm
for?
going to drop that link in the chat. Give me 1 second. That is the new Elevate coaching program with Brian Ellington that he's just started. And I'm going to drop the link in the chat. This is a 12-week training. I normally charge about $2,000 for this training. I am redoing it specific to EXP and EXP's tools. And we're doing it for only $657. So it is 1/3 of what I normally charge because EXP with their Elevate coaching program want to be consistent with pricing as much as I'm like, okay. So it is a huge value. I'm going to find the chat here. And it starts July 31st and it's 12 weeks, deep dive into luxury, just about all the aspects. And it's good. I've had tons of agents who are seasoned luxury agents take this training as well.
Okay.
I am a trainer. I guess you guys know that. I've been a trainer in real estate, in luxury real estate for well over 15 years, 8 years with Sotheby's, 3 years with Compass, and now 3 years at EXP. I'm the co-chair of the luxury division. So I'm not just a practitioner, and I don't say that badly, but I'm very passionate about training and coaching. So let me find this link here. And
Well,
while I'm finding the link, any other questions, happy to answer.
I just think it's an important piece for not only ourselves, but for agents and agents that would be interested in coming over to EXP because the luxury program is stellar.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. What we offer at the price we offer for the luxury division is like literally a fraction of what I was paying on my own to get the same tools, like a 10th. Hold on, I have the link here. I'm going to drop that in the chat.
I'll quit
Now
talking.
this one particular course is just for EXP agents because it is through the Elevate coaching platform. If there's people who are not at EXP who are interested in training programs, I do have other options for them, both on expired luxury listings and getting more luxury listings in general, or this foundational course. But it's a lot more expensive than what you can get through EXP.
Come to EXP.
Yeah.
Thank you, Janie.
You're welcome. More
Janie,
questions?
Hi, Janie. This is Alisa Moore. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. I have a question. As I'm trying to transition into luxury, of course, I'll still have opportunities for, the lower priced transactions. Do you recommend having two different listing and buyer consultation presentations, one for luxury and one for the lower price transactions? Okay.
100%. I would have a brand, like a personal brand or a team brand that can span different price points. So our brand, our team is called the Gorgeous Florida Homes Network. Our
Mhm.
basic brand is just black and white with a palm tree because we're in Florida. So we have the regular brand for all price points, but then we have a luxury division within that brand for our higher price points. So our cards, our folders, our yard signs, all are that brand, but enhanced with luxury, a little bit of gold, a little bit of foil touch. But yes, you want to have a luxury feeling buyer and seller consultation for your luxury buyers and sellers, and a branded to you, but more approachable or accessible buyer and seller consultation and presentation packets for regular price points. And it is important because you want to meet the people where they are. When I only had luxury branding, I actually did lose a few average price point sellers because they just didn't feel comfortable with that. So that's from then on, and it's been at least 15 years, I've always had two versions of the presentations. And as I get into, well, as I am in specialties, niches, like for me, equestrian, historic, and waterfront, I even have enhanced versions of the buyer and seller presentations for those different niches. So if I'm going on an expired equestrian listing opportunity, my presentation feels and is appropriate for equestrian people, because that's what they're going to want for marketing their home. So yes, 100% you should. But they should not be different. They should be just on a range, but if that makes sense.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Very helpful. Thanks.
You're welcome. Joe asked a question in the chat. I'm new to luxury and this is what I have learned done so far. Joe says, I have 2 different style yard signs for different price points. Posts are higher price, clean, no photo. Yay, Joe. I don't like agent photos on business cards or signs for luxury. So I'm glad Joe's along that. And then he has the H frame for lower property. And we do the same. We have a PVC nice yard sign for all our properties, but then for our luxury properties, we have a custom made by a carpenter wood signpost with a gold newel knob at the top, and then, like I said, a little bit enhanced yard signs with the luxury. So yeah, Joe's done that too. Stacy, did you have some stuff to wrap up, or we want to take one more question? I don't want to take over your meeting. You're muted.
Good morning, Janie. I have a question. What are those important stats when you're doing market reports?
What are they again?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Lori, I recommend no photo on luxury cards. That's just me. Maybe it's all my years at Sotheby's, but generally speaking, I just feel no photo feels more elegant. But the stats you want to look at, and this is not just for luxury. This is if you're starting to focus on any farm or anything, find out the price range across the MLS. And in our example, maybe that's 700 to $1 million. And look in all the sales in your whole MLS, 700 to $1 million, to understand what's the average days on market, what's the average list to sales price ratio, what's the average months of inventory across the MLS. Then look at your own market that you're looking to specialize in for the same price point and see, are the days on market DOM, are they better or worse? The list to sales price ratio, are they better or worse? The months of inventory, is it better or worse? Because what I don't want people to do, and what I see them do often, unfortunately, somebody has a sale in a luxury neighborhood, or they used to live in a luxury neighborhood, or they have a friend, or they like that neighborhood, and they start to farm it and they put all their eggs in the basket of that neighborhood. But that neighborhood is a neighborhood where people live there for 20 years. They hardly ever turn over, or it's a less desirable neighborhood, so the days on market is longer than the average in the MLS for the same price point, or the list to sales price ratio is lower for the same price point. you don't want to shift your efforts and your money and your time and your resources to a market that's more challenging if you're on the listing side. Now, if you're wanting to do that on the buyer side, that's ideal because it's going to be more buyer friendly. But days on market, listed sales price ratio, months of inventory. So,
All right. Any other questions? Otherwise, we will wrap up for today. Thank you so much, Janie. This was such a great training. And I know you had to condense this big training and you did amazing because it gave us like the exact points that we need to move forward. So I appreciate it.
awesome, awesome. Well, I love teaching this topic. If you are at EXP and you want more in-depth training, like I said, we have massive value with this training coming up with Elevate Coaching. I've dropped the link in. And if you already selling luxury and you're interested, I have no call luxury expireds program coming up, friends and family beta version starting in mid-July. So just message me separate and I'll send you information on that. So, all right, guys.
Janie, where do you want them to message you at, just in case we have?
Oh, you can just message me in the network or on Workplace if you're in.
If they're a guest though, and they're
Oh,
not.
if there's a guest, let me
Yeah.
just drop a link where you can just sign up to get notified when that course is live.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
I know we'll get that question.
Yeah, no, good, valid point. So I'm going to drop a link. It's where you can just sign up to be notified when that course is available. Like I said, it's going to be within a few weeks. I'm going to do a beta version for friends and family. You guys are, of course, friends and family, where people can kind of, I'm going to rebuild my expired system. And I figured, well, why not rebuild it along with everybody else who's asking me for it, and we'll do it together. So I'm going to do it at a highly discounted rate.
Oh, that's
thank you,
fun.
Joe. I appreciate that. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Dawn.
All
Appreciate
right,
the
guys, we will
opportunity to
see
share with you
you.
guys.
Yes, we'll see you next time. If you have questions just regarding anything, you need help with your business, you've got questions about EXP, you need to know where to find something, office hours is next, and you can stay on this link. Otherwise, we will see you guys later. Take care.
Awesome. Thanks.